There is a deep need in people to be understood, so they tell their stories to friends, to strangers, sometimes to anyone who will listen. But have you ever wondered, is it necessary? When you tell your story to the world, you expose yourself, not just your past, but your fears, your wounds, your limitations. You give people ammunition to define you, to shape their expectations of you. But what you were yesterday is not what you are now, and what you are now is not what you will be tomorrow. So why let the world trap you in an old version of yourself? Silence has power. A seed grows in the darkness of the soil, unseen. A river carves mountains without asking anyone's permission. The most profound things happen not in noise, but in stillness. Your story should evolve inside you first, before you offer it to the world. People share their struggles, hoping for sympathy, but what they receive is judgment, or worse, indifference. The world is too busy to carry your burdens, your pains, your dreams. They are yours to transform. If you must speak, speak in actions. Let your life be the proof of your journey, not your words. It is not about secrecy, but about strength. If you truly know yourself, you do not need validation. You do not need approval. And when the time comes, when your story has shaped you into something unshakable, you won't need to tell it. People will see it for themselves. People often feel the need to share their stories, but it is not always necessary. The moment something happens in life, whether joy or suffering, success or failure, there is an urge to tell someone. It feels like a release, a way to lighten the burden or multiply the joy. But in doing so, we unknowingly place our emotions in the hands of others. We expect understanding, but understanding is rare. Everyone listens through the filter of their own experiences, their own judgments, and their own limitations. What you share as a heartfelt truth might be reduced to mere gossip for another. What you reveal as a deep wound might become a weakness in someone else's eyes. Words once spoken cannot be taken back. They linger in people's minds, shaping their perceptions of you in ways you may never control. Silence is not suppression, it is a conscious choice. When you hold your story within you, you allow it to mature. You give yourself time to understand it, to process it, to transform it into something meaningful. Speaking too soon without clarity often turns pain into drama and joy into fleeting excitement. But when you allow experiences to settle within you, they become wisdom. Wisdom does not need an audience. It radiates in the way you live, the way you carry yourself, the way you respond to life. In moments of hardship, people seek comfort in words, hoping that sharing will ease the pain. But pain does not dissolve through speaking. It transforms through understanding. And understanding comes from silence, from reflection, from allowing life to reveal its own lessons. A tree does not announce its growth, it simply grows. The sun does not seek appreciation, it simply shines. In the same way, your journey does not need to be narrated at every step. When the time is right, your presence alone will speak for you. Telling your story makes you vulnerable to judgment and expectations. The moment you share your experiences, your past, your struggles, or even your dreams, you allow the world to form an opinion about you. People are not blank slates. They listen with their own biases, their own understanding of the world. What you consider an innocent detail about your life might become a label in someone else's mind. You might share a mistake from your past, believing it to be a lesson you have learned, but to others it may become a permanent flaw that they associate with you. The world rarely sees you as constantly evolving. It prefers to categorize, to define, to put people into boxes. The more you share, the easier it is for others to decide who they think you are, and in time you may even start believing their version of you instead of your own. Expectations are another burden that comes with speaking too soon. When you tell people about your goals, your dreams, or even your struggles, they start to watch. Some may silently hope for your failure, while others may expect you to succeed in a way that fits their idea of success. If you do not meet these expectations, there will be questions, disappointment, judgment. Instead of growing naturally at your own pace, you may feel pressure to prove something, to meet standards that were never yours to begin with. The moment you let others into your journey too early, you risk losing control over it. Growth happens best when it is allowed to happen freely, without the weight of external opinions shaping its direction. What you were yesterday is not who you are today. Don't let others define you. Every moment, you are changing. Your thoughts, your emotions, your understanding of life, it is all in a state of movement. But the world does not see this movement. Once you tell your story, people freeze you in that moment. If you were once weak, they will remember you as weak. If you made a mistake, they will hold on to that mistake longer than you will. Even if you grow, even if you change, their memory of you may not evolve with you. Defining yourself by what others remember about you is a trap. If you let their image of you shape your decisions, you are no longer living for yourself. You are living to fit into a version of yourself that no longer exists. You do not have to carry the weight of past perceptions. You do not have to keep explaining who you are today. You do not need to correct those who misunderstand you. Your growth is yours alone, and it does not require permission from anyone else. The only thing that matters is that you continue to move forward, regardless of who is watching. What you were yesterday is not who you are today. Don't let others define you. Every person is a constant work in progress. Thoughts change, beliefs evolve, and understanding deepens with every experience. Yet, when you reveal your past to others, they often hold on to that version of you as if it is permanent. People are comfortable with fixed identities. They want to know who you are and keep you there, as if change is unnatural. But nothing in life stays the same. A river does not flow in the same place forever. A tree does not remain a seed. Everything is transforming, and so are you. If you allow others to define you, you risk becoming trapped in their expectations. They may remember a time when you were weak, when you made mistakes, when you doubted yourself. Even if you have moved beyond that, they may still see you as that person. The danger is that their perception might become a mirror in which you start seeing yourself. If you believe their version of you, you might hesitate to grow beyond it. You might feel the need to justify yourself, to prove that you have changed. But growth does not require permission. You do not need to explain yourself to anyone. The only person who needs to recognize your evolution is you. Silence has power. True growth happens unseen, like a seed in the soil. There is a natural intelligence to life. When a seed is planted, it does not shout to the world about its growth. It does not ask for approval. It simply pushes through the soil, absorbs what it needs, and grows in its own time. The most profound changes in life do not happen in noise, but in stillness. When you stop seeking validation for every step of your journey, you allow yourself to develop in a way that is authentic, not influenced by what others expect of you. Many people talk about their dreams before they are ready to achieve them. They announce their plans, looking for encouragement but often receive doubt instead. When others question them, they start questioning themselves. This is why true transformation happens in silence. When you nurture your growth within, without exposing it to external opinions, it strengthens. Just as a plant develops deep roots before breaking through the surface, your inner strength must be cultivated before the world sees it. Those who rush to share their progress too soon often find their energy scattered. But those who hold their journey close, allowing it to unfold naturally, emerge stronger, unshaken by the noise around them. The world does not carry your burdens. Your struggles are yours to transform. Every person has their own battles, their own difficulties, their own fears. When you share your struggles, you may hope for understanding, for someone to lighten your load, But in reality, the world keeps moving. Some may listen with kindness, but most will not carry your burdens for you. People are busy with their own lives, their own challenges. Even those who offer sympathy may forget your pain as soon as they return to their own concerns. Relying on external support can be a dangerous habit. When you constantly share your struggles hoping for comfort, you may become dependent on the reactions of others. If they respond with care, you feel relief. If they respond with indifference, you feel abandoned. But true strength is not built on external comfort. It is built on inner resilience. Your pain, your difficulties, your challenges, they are yours alone to overcome. No one else can walk your path for you. No one else can transform your suffering into wisdom. This is not a burden, but a power. Because when you stop seeking rescue, you realize that you were never helpless to begin with. You have always had the strength to carry yourself through. Make your life show your journey. Too often people feel the need to explain themselves, to justify their choices, to make others understand their struggles and ambitions. But words can only do so much. No matter how well you explain, people will still see you through the lens of their own experiences. They will interpret your words in ways that suit their understanding, not necessarily in the way you intend. Instead of trying to convince others of who you are, simply be. Let your actions speak. Let your presence reflect your truth. Let the way you live be the only statement you need to make. When someone is truly at peace, they do not need to declare it. Their presence alone carries a sense of calm. When someone is genuinely strong, they do not need to prove it with loud words. Their resilience shows in how they handle life. A person who has wisdom does not need to constantly share it. The way they respond to challenges reveals their depth. The world does not believe promises, it believes results. If you want to be known for something, do not announce it. Become it. Seeking sympathy often leads to judgment or indifference. When people are struggling, they naturally seek comfort. They want someone to listen, to understand, to care. But the world is not always as compassionate as one hopes. At times, sharing your struggles does not bring support. People may not see your pain, they may see weakness. They may not offer kindness, they may offer criticism. Even those who seem to listen may forget your words as soon as the conversation ends. There is a harsh reality to life. Most people are too occupied with their own problems to truly care about yours. Some may listen out of politeness. Some may even offer a few comforting words. But very few will genuinely carry your pain with you, and even fewer will be able to help in any meaningful way. Instead of hoping for understanding from others, it is wiser to understand yourself. If you recognize your struggles, if you acknowledge your pain without the need for external validation, you take control of your own healing. The world does not owe you comfort, but you owe yourself the strength to move forward. True self-awareness eliminates the need for external validation. Many people seek approval without realizing it. They look for confirmation that they are doing the right thing, that they are on the right path, that they are enough. But what is this need for validation if not an uncertainty within? When you are truly in tune with yourself, you do not need the world to agree with you. You do not need others to recognize your worth. You simply know it, and that knowing is enough. External validation is fleeting. Today people may praise you, tomorrow they may criticize you. If your sense of self is dependent on the opinions of others, you will always be at their mercy. You will rise when they approve and fall when they disapprove. But real strength comes when you no longer require approval, when you are unaffected by praise or criticism. This does not mean you stop listening to others, but that their words do not define your sense of self. You are not here to meet anyone's expectations. You are not here to fit into a version of yourself that pleases others. The only validation that truly matters is the one that comes from within. Your story should evolve within you before being shared. People are often in a rush to tell their stories, to explain their pain, to announce their growth. But a story that is still unfolding is fragile. When you share too soon, you open yourself up to opinions that may not align with your journey. Others may give advice not based on your truth, but based on their own experiences. They may project their fears, their limitations, their doubts onto you. And if you are not careful, their words may take root in your mind, influencing your choices before you have fully understood them yourself. Growth happens internally before it is seen externally. When a tree is growing, its roots form first, hidden beneath the soil. Only when it is strong enough does it break through the surface. If it were exposed too soon, it would be weak, unable to withstand the wind. Your story is the same. Let it evolve within you. Let it become strong before you share it. When the time is right, when you have fully understood your own journey, you will not need to explain it. Your presence, when you have truly grown, your story will not need to be told. People will see it. Life does not require announcements. The sun does not declare that it is shining, yet it is seen. The river does not boast about its journey, yet it carves through mountains. In the same way, true growth does not need to be spoken, it becomes evident in the way you live, the way you carry yourself, the way you respond to the world around you. There is a great urge in people to prove themselves, to make others see how much they have changed, to explain the struggles they have overcome. But real transformation is not about convincing others, it is about becoming. The loudest declarations often come from insecurity, the need to be acknowledged, to be understood, to be validated. It all comes from an inner doubt. When you truly know who you are, there is no need to explain it. The world will see it without you having to say a word. A tree does not demand recognition for growing taller, it simply reaches toward the sky. A mountain does not seek approval for standing strong, it simply exists. Growth is not for others to witness, it is for you to experience. And when that growth is real, it cannot be hidden. People will notice without you asking them to. They will see the way you move, the way you think, the way you handle life. If your change is genuine, it will not be a story you tell. It will be a presence you carry. Many people speak of their plans before they have taken action. They talk about what they will do, who they will become, what they have learned, but plans are only words until they are lived. Dreams mean nothing until they are turned into reality. Instead of telling people what you are going to do, let them see it. Instead of explaining who you have become, let them feel it in the way you exist. There is great power in silence. When you stop seeking recognition, when you stop trying to prove yourself, you free yourself from the expectations of others. You no longer live to be seen, you simply live. And in doing so, you become undeniable. Growth that is real does not ask for attention, it commands it effortlessly. Your journey does not need to be told for it to be known. When you have truly transformed, people will recognize it without a single word. Your journey should not be narrated at every step. It should unfold naturally. There is a tendency in people to speak about every stage of their progress, to share their thoughts before they have settled, to seek validation before they have fully understood their own path. But growth does not happen through words, it happens through experience. A fruit does not ripen because it is discussed, it ripens in silence, in its own time. When you speak too soon, you risk exposing your journey to energies that may not align with it. Not everyone who listens does so with good intentions. Some listen to judge, some listen to compete, some listen only to dismiss what you say. When you share your struggles too early, you invite opinions that may cloud your clarity. When you speak of your dreams before they are fully formed, you allow doubt to enter through the words of others. Growth is fragile when it begins, like a flame that must be protected from the wind. If you let too many voices near it, it may flicker and die before it has a chance to burn brightly. There is also a deep attachment to making understood. to making sure people see your progress. But life does not require an audience. The greatest transformations happen in solitude. When a butterfly emerges from its cocoon, it does not announce its struggle, it simply flies. It does not explain the darkness it endured, the time it took to transform, the effort it took to break free. It moves forward, unburdened by the need to be recognized. People often believe that speaking about their journey helps them process it. But real understanding comes from within. Reflection is more powerful than explanation. Stillness reveals more than conversation. When you allow yourself the space to simply experience without seeking approval or sympathy, you become stronger in your own understanding. Your growth is not a performance. It does not need validation. It is something sacred, something personal, something that should be nurtured with care, not displayed for the world to judge. The most powerful moments in life are not those that are announced, but those that are lived fully. When you stop narrating every step, you begin to experience each moment more deeply. You begin to see that your journey is not for others to approve of, not for them to comment on, not for them to validate. It is yours alone, and that is more than enough. When the time is right, the world will see your transformation, not because you told them, but because it will be impossible to ignore. Not everyone who listens wishes you well. People often assume that when they share their struggles, dreams, or deepest thoughts, those who listen will understand, support, or encourage them. But the truth is, not everyone who hears your words has your best interests at heart. Some listen with curiosity, not care. Some listen to compare, not to connect. And some listen only to gather information they may later use against you. Human nature is complex. Even those who seem kind may carry hidden intentions. Some may appear supportive, but secretly feel resentment when they see you growing. Some may smile at your success, but feel uneasy about your progress. And some may offer comfort while quietly feeding their own ego, feeling superior for being the one you confide in. Not all harm is direct. Sometimes it comes in subtle ways, through words spoken behind your back, through small discouragements disguised as advice, through silent competition disguised as friendship. When you share too much, you give others power over you. The more they know, the more they can form opinions, make judgments, or even manipulate situations to their advantage. Some may remind you of your past failures, keeping you tied to an old version of yourself. Some may discourage your dreams not because they are impossible, but because they fear being left behind. And some may take your words and twist them, spreading their own version of your story to others, shaping how you are seen before you even get the chance to define yourself. There is wisdom in being selective with your words. Not everyone deserves to know your thoughts. Not everyone is meant to hear your plans. Your struggles, your dreams, your pain, these are sacred and they should be shared only with those who have earned your trust, not given freely to anyone who asks. Silence is not secrecy, it is protection. Keeping your story within you does not mean you are hiding. It means you are honoring your journey, allowing it to unfold without interference, without unwanted opinions, without unnecessary energy from those who do not truly care. True strength is not in how much you share, but in how well you protect what matters. There is a power in keeping parts of yourself unknown, in allowing your actions to speak louder than your words. When you guard your story, you remain in control of it. When you choose silence over unnecessary exposure, you keep your energy focused, your mind clear, and your path unshaken by the opinions of those who were never meant to walk it with you. There is great power in knowing when to remain silent. It is tempting to share everything, to explain every detail of your journey, to make sure everyone understands where you've been and where you're going. But silence is not a weakness, it is a choice, one that protects your peace and allows your growth to happen organically. When you speak too much, you give pieces of yourself away. You invite others to form opinions, to weigh in on your journey, and to either support or criticize you. In silence, you retain control. You decide when, how, and with whom to share your story, and you do so from a place of strength, not need. Silence allows you the space to process your emotions fully before they are influenced by the reactions of others. When you share your struggles too quickly, you may find yourself caught up in the words and opinions of others. Some may offer advice, some may dismiss your feelings, and others may project their own experiences onto your pain. But when you keep your story to yourself, you allow it to settle. You give yourself time to understand your feelings and to decide for yourself how you want to respond. This internal process is vital for true healing. Words can be powerful, but they can also be misinterpreted. What you intend to express may not always be received in the way you hope. People have their own perspectives, shaped by their experiences, their biases, and their beliefs. Even when you speak from the heart, your message may not land in the way you intend. Silence shields you from this misunderstanding. By keeping your thoughts to yourself, you give others the chance to form their own perceptions untarnished by any preconceptions you might unintentionally introduce. Some experiences are too sacred to be shared casually. Not every moment of growth needs to be announced. Some of the most profound shifts in life happen quietly, in solitude, away from the eyes of others. When you share too much, you risk diminishing the sanctity of those moments. You may rob yourself of the opportunity to fully experience them in their purest form. The most significant changes often happen in the silence between thoughts, in the stillness of self-reflection. By not rushing to share, there is also a danger in oversharing. By constantly talking about your experiences, your challenges, your dreams, you may begin to seek validation rather than self-assurance. When you feel the need to justify your actions or explain your feelings, you become reliant on others for confirmation. This can undermine your confidence and shift the focus from your own inner strength to external approval. When you keep your journey to yourself, you build the trust and confidence needed to continue moving forward without the need for outside validation. You become less reliant on others' opinions and more connected to your own sense of purpose. Every person you encounter will shape your perception of your own story. Some will offer encouragement, others will criticize, and some will judge without understanding. The more you share, the more you open yourself up to these external influences. If you are not careful, the stories others tell you about yourself may start to overshadow your own narrative. By keeping your story private, you protect it from being distorted. You preserve your true voice, and you allow yourself to remain authentic, untouched by the noise of the world. Your journey is uniquely yours, and it deserves to be treated with respect and care. Not everyone will understand it, not everyone will support it, and not everyone will walk alongside you, and that is perfectly fine. The most important thing is to honor your own path. Sometimes this means protecting it, shielding it from the opinions and judgments of others. You do not need permission from anyone else to grow, to change, or to pursue your dreams. Your story is yours to live, and silence gives you the freedom to live it fully without distraction. By choosing silence, you give yourself the opportunity to observe the world around you, to listen more deeply, and to reflect on your own experiences without external influence. In the absence of constant noise, you become more attuned to the subtle rhythms of life. You learn to trust your instincts and your inner wisdom. Rather, it allows you to evolve at your own pace, free from the pressure to perform or explain. Silence, in its simplicity, nurtures the most profound forms of self-discovery. The world is full of noise. People talking, sharing their thoughts, opinions, and stories, often without understanding the depth of the lives they're commenting on. When you constantly tell others your story, you risk getting lost in the noise of their responses. People will offer advice, they will share their judgments, and they will project their own fears and hopes onto your experiences. But what you need to remember is that their thoughts are not your truth. They may think they understand, but they will only ever see a fragment of the whole picture. By choosing not to share everything, you give yourself the space to fully process your journey without the interference of others' limited perspectives. The act of telling your story to others is often done in search of validation, in hopes that others will see your worth, understand your pain, or acknowledge your efforts. But external validation is fleeting and unreliable. What you seek from others can never fully satisfy the longing for acknowledgement that comes from within. If you constantly seek approval for your choices, your growth, or your pain, you may begin to lose sight of your own truth. When you keep your story to yourself, you give yourself the opportunity to seek validation from within, relying on your own heart, your own mind, and your own sense of purpose to guide you. This internal validation is much more enduring and far more powerful than the opinions of others. Not everyone deserves access to your deepest thoughts and struggles. Trust is earned, not given freely to everyone who asks. People's intentions vary, and while some may listen with the purest of hearts, others may listen with curiosity, or worse, with the intent to judge. The more you share, the more vulnerable you become to judgment, criticism, or even some people are not equipped to handle your truth, and sharing too much can leave you exposed to harm that you may not see coming. By choosing silence, you protect your energy and your emotional well-being, only allowing those who truly care about you to enter the inner circle of your experience. Words, though powerful, can be misinterpreted or twisted. Even when you speak from the heart, others may misunderstand your meaning or intentions. They may project their own beliefs, assumptions, and emotions onto what you say. Once your words are out there, they are no longer under your control. The more you speak about your journey, the more you risk having it filtered through the lens of others' perceptions. Keeping things to yourself gives you control over how your story unfolds. You alone can shape the meaning of your experiences, and no one else can distort it. Silence preserves your narrative from being diluted or misunderstood. Some of your most profound transformations happen quietly, in moments when you're alone with your thoughts, away from the world's gaze. True growth often happens in silence, when you have the space to reflect, to feel, and to process without any external influence. The world does not need to know every step of your journey for it to be valid. Not every shift within you needs to be shared. Some things are too sacred to be exposed too soon. They need time to solidify within you, to mature and take root before they can be revealed. By keeping your growth to yourself, you give it the time and space to become something real, something rooted in your own truth, not in the expectations or opinions of others. When you speak too soon about your struggles or dreams, you expose them to the opinions of those who may not understand or support them. People who are unfamiliar with your experiences or who have not walked the path you've walked will not see things from the same perspective. They may offer advice that doesn't apply to your situation, or suggest paths that do not resonate with your truth. By keeping your journey to yourself, you avoid the influence of advice that may not align with your vision. Your story is yours to define, and it will evolve at its own pace, without the interference of those who do not fully understand it. There is a delicate balance between sharing your story and keeping it to yourself. Some moments in your journey should remain private, held only by you, because they are still unfolding. Once you start speaking too much about them, you might find yourself seeking validation for your experiences rather than truly living them. When you share your thoughts too freely, you risk losing the purity of your experience. It becomes contaminated by the judgments, assumptions, and interpretations of others. It's easy to get caught up in the desire to be understood, but the truth is, you will never be fully understood by everyone. Instead of chasing that approval, embrace the mystery of your own journey. Let it develop without the pressure of explaining it to others. The world, with its constant chatter, can drown out your inner voice. When you speak too much, you become distracted by the opinions and judgments of others. Your focus shifts from your own truth to the need for external validation. When you stop sharing everything, you create the space to listen to your own thoughts more clearly. You connect more deeply with your own intuition and wisdom. Silence allows you to tune out the external noise and tune into your own heart. When you trust yourself, your journey becomes clear and you no longer feel the need to explain it to anyone. Oversharing can also lead to emotional exhaustion. Constantly explaining your pain, your struggles, your growth can leave you feeling drained, especially when people do not respond in the way you expect or hope. Seeking sympathy or understanding can be exhausting, as silence allows you to preserve your energy, to focus on your healing without the need for others' involvement. When you choose not to share, you free yourself from the weight of others' opinions and responses, and you keep your energy intact for the work that truly matters, your personal growth. Lastly, your story is sacred and it deserves the time to be written carefully. Each chapter of your life deserves to be understood fully by you before it is shared. When you rush to tell others about your experiences, you may find that the story you tell is not the one you truly want to share. It is the version shaped by the expectations of others or by the need to please or impress. By choosing not to reveal everything, you give yourself the opportunity to truly understand your own journey. You create the space to let the story unfold in its own time, allowing it to emerge organically with depth and meaning that can only come from living it fully. As you move forward in your journey, remember that silence is not emptiness. It's a space for growth, for reflection, for clarity. Not every thought, every struggle, every success needs to be spoken out loud. The most powerful transformations happen in the quiet moments, when you're alone with your truth, building yourself into the person you are becoming. Trust that when the time is right, your story will speak for itself, and the world will see your growth, not because you've told them, but because it will be undeniable. Keep your peace, protect your energy, and let your life become the story that needs no explanation.